Hello, everyone. A very beautiful Sunday morning to you all. So, today we are here with our episode 118 of Instagram Live Guest Talk with Homeopathy Heals. At times, I wonder, does this talk show, this Instagram Live, would be nothing without the love and support you people, Homeopathy Heals family, has given to us. Today I'm very excited about this session because speaker for today is a very fresh face, new face, and he has gained a lot of love among BHMS students. He's two way ahead. Let's add him. Great.
Good morning, Anandi.
Very good morning. So today we have our guest of the week, Dr. Chinttan Chavda with us, and he's a BHMS graduate from CMP Medical College, Mumbai, and founder of MedPerspect. He has an educational platform dedicated to supporting BHMS undergraduates, and through his platform, he personally guides more than lakh students with his notes, videos. He is also his commitment with BHMS journey extend to his popular online presence. He has a YouTube channel which has more than 13,000 subscribers and a Telegram community of strong 16,000 members. His passion for helping students truly shine through, and we are excited to hear more about his journey and insight. Why didn't you mention that you practice in some charitable trust also, and you are very
Oh yeah,
fond and you are fond of and a very firm, true practitioner of Fatak poetry also.
yes, definitely. Um, am I audible?
So I welcome you, Dr. Chintan. Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So like, from where should we begin, Anandi?
Okay. So, like me, even audience is very curious. Let's not even wait a single second, and I'll start firing questions on you.
Sure.
Uh, my very basic question comes here: okay, what in your perception, what are your thoughts about BHMS curriculum?
Hmm.
Uh, एज अ न्यू पास आउट कहूंगी मैं, एज अ फ्रेश बडिंग होम्योपैथ, आपको क्या लगता है कि कौन कौन से ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स हैं जिनको इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दी जाती है या जिनको ज्यादा तवज्जो दी जानी चाहिए या लिखाया पढ़ाया नहीं जाता ठीक से?
Hmm.
आपको व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन दिस?
Okay. So first of all, to begin with, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be in here. It's a big thing for me, and I've been following you since a very long time now, and it's my honor and pleasure to be here. And to answer your question, Anandi, to start with, I would like to say that, of course, we all know that homeopathic is a beautiful science, and the miracles which it can produce is endless, right? But the basic thing which I've figured out, which is lacking in most of the scenarios, is that there is a lack of clinical exposure to the students. Uh, like they haven't seen many patients, or in some cases, or in some instances, they haven't seen a single case throughout the whole curriculum as well, BHMS. So sometimes it becomes very difficult because homeopathic is a practical science, and it is a science which you have studied. It should be applied, and it should be seen that how well results can it produce, right? So the only major concern is that the lack of clinical exposure, or the lack of OPD, the live OPD patient counter, wherein the senior doctors guide you. They, I mean, they show you the whole trace path of your cases which are followed, and the remedies prescribed, why is it prescribed, and which potency is given, why is it given, is it single dose, multiple doses, or LN scale. So the basic lacking factor which is there constantly throughout the Indian country is that there is a lack of clinical exposure, and subjects such as organon, of course, are very organon is a subject which is very less studied amongst students as well, and it is considered boring, but it contains many clues and many insights for a successful practice as well, right? I am not a very senior practitioner to, I mean, say much about it, but what I have known and of what I know is that materia medica repertory, also repertorization is also a subject which is very much neglected in our BHMS curriculum, wherein we are not, I mean, generally there is a lack of, repertorization, live repertorization, wherein the doctor is repertorizing the case in front of the student as well. So this is what I think, something which is lacking and something which should be countered well. And the only thing which, I mean, it can happen is that the students also somewhere show some interest, and if it is not possible from their end to study from the college aspect, they can, there are multiple resources available wherein they can just take the cases and, take some help from any doctors available or any mentors or guide like you all are doing. So that is the main thing which I feel that something is missing in this aspect, the clinical exposure and the patient exposure mainly.
Here, I would like to add, Dr. Chinttan, how many practitioners they help each other? It's a big question in homeopathy, which makes me upset most of the time. I have a lot of interns and students, and they came to me with a huge disappointment that, ma'am, we have spent like 3 months, 4 months with
Yeah,
some so and so homeopath, and they don't even tell what they prescribe.
yeah,
Forget the approach.
correct. Correct. As far as my background is concerned, and I've been very lucky and fortunate to learn from the best of the best people, and Dr. Master Sir and my other mentors, seniors, they've always been very open with their prescriptions and with their styles as well. So, as per as my journey goes, and my college as well, CMP, the doctors have been very open to teach us, and I'm fortunate enough to come from a college which is one of the best colleges of homeopathy in India, right? And here we get the exposure, we get the live OPD, daily OPD counts of patients. Our OPD of Organon reaches around 100 patients daily. So it's a big plus point for those who are interested in homeopathy to learn and get the clinical exposure. But right, the point which you mentioned is also very true somewhat, because somewhere, not only in homeopathy but in every medical sciences, it is observed that people are generally kind of reserved and they do not share much. So my journey behind starting MedPerspect was also the same, that somewhere we want to make this difference a unanimous equation among all people, right? So it is. So I started with my. Should I tell you my journey with the MedPerspect, like how
Yes,
it
yes,
began? And
yes.
so to be very honest, I didn't even think of it that we would achieve these numbers and like we would reach across wholes in India. So it started with just two factors. That when I was in my first year, 20 people from my batch failed the first BHMS examinations. So at our times, there was no golden KT or something like that, and directly the batch used to shift. So if you fail once, you are 6 months back. Now the golden KTs and other rules have come in, but at my time, I nearly, like, from my batch, 20 people got a back, and they was like directly 6 months behind us, right? So I lost few of my friends also in that backlog. And what I observed is that something has to be done, right? Wherein, because academically I was very keen and always interested in homeopathy and academics, and was average in studies as well. So I thought that something should be done, because I'll tell you when I got this insight. So when I went to second year, I figured out that there are many students and seniors who have failed multiple times, who are in second year but who have given exams 2 3 times. And there was one student because of which the MedPerspect journey started also, is that the that student had failed first year 6 times. So I was very intrigued to know that what is like happening. So I was thinking कि whether should I go from सामने से ही जाके उनसे बात करूँ या कुछ करूँ या फिर कैसे बोलूँ. तो मैं सामने से उनके पास गया. I went and I tried to like understand कि what all problems was she having or was he having. So I would then I understood, and then I thought कि suppose this is one case, and like that, like this multiple cases could be there in different colleges. So there has to be some platform which takes stands for student, wherein there is no support from elsewhere. So as you can see my YouTube description also, it clearly says that when all the doors are closed, you can knock at our doors and we'll try to help you all out. So that's the basic perspective that, and luckily, I mean, fortunately, I worked with her full year, and second year, which is considered as one of the toughest years of BHMS, and she cleared her second year in the first attempt itself. So like 6 months, I mean, 6 times repeating the first year and clearing second year in the first attempt, right? So that was like a very big this thing for me, that if I can do this individually, we can do it on a bigger scale and at a bigger level. So that is how it started, and the inspiration behind this was Saurav Pandya, my brother. It all started because of him, because when I was initially making videos and notes and all we were sharing, the views were not coming. So he's the actual, like, the OG rockstar Pandya, we said. He is the king of Telegram, and his channel is nearly across 30,000 subscribers, right? And it is him. So I talked with him that, bhai, views are not coming. Like, what should I do? What should I do? So he said that, don't worry, you keep on working. I'll promote your videos. So it started with that. He started, sharing my notes in his channel and saying that follow MedPerspect. So like that's how it all began. And once you get the groove, then like it keeps on going.
Even I did my BHMS from a government medical college, Muradabad, and I was so lucky that we had OPD of 70 to 100 patients in a day, that too in 3 hours, like 10 to 2, I guess. कभी कभी 3-4 भी बच जाते
Right.
थे. And what I loved about those internship days, every intern was given 4 cases a day minimum, and which is huge. Independently getting 4 cases, and our medical officer, Dr. TP Singh sir, was there. He's still there. So what he used to do is, if I have taken a case and patient's follow-up come after 7 days, so my name is written there.
Right.
Dr. Anum has taken the case. The patient has to find me. Even if any intern got that case, they will redirect it to me so that I get to know I prescribed the medicine and
Correct.
what was the follow. And I am absent, they used to either continue with the same medicine or SL and ask them to come after 3 days because Dr. Anam is not available. So how beautiful it was. I was
Yeah.
so lucky, that clinical exposure. And I've worked in district hospital for 3 years.
Wow.
So I would consider myself very fortunate. I have consulted like 150 patients in 3 hours.
Wow.
150.
Wow.
160, 190. I mean, so uh, the clinical exposure is must, I must say.
Correct. Correct.
Moving
Correct.
forward to next question.
Yeah.
What major challenges you have encountered during your BHMS studies, and you have to tell how to navigate those challenges as well, because we need to raise the problem and solve the problem as well in this life.
Sure. 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 So first of all, challenges as such, there weren't any major challenges as such for me personally. But what I've seen is that people and all the students don't have this concept very clear in their mind, that there are two ways to study when you are in a medical college. One, you study for exams, and while one, you study for life, right? So it is very clear and it is very practical that for exam point of view, you have to study this questions, and out of the probability and permutation and combination, so and so number of questions might come, and so questions like have a very high chance of coming. So for me personally also, my life, I mean my academic college life was divided in two segments. That one, I used to study for exams, that is like just starting 2 months before the papers, and one like once which you study throughout the year, you refer YouTube videos. So me personally, when I was in first year, I nearly covered all my physiology from Najib sir's video. He's the god of physiology and the god of medicine. So I literally have those notes made, and I've laminated the notes. So I did my first physiology from Najib sir, my anat from Ninja Nerd. So these are all great inspirations which I had in my life initially. Ninja Nerd and Najib sir really, pushed that learning factor in me, and it's one of the best first year boost that you can get, right? So one thing has to be very clear, that there are two things. One, you study for exams, and one, you study for life. So when you're studying for your life, you can of course freely browse through all the videos of Najib sir or Ninja Nerd or any XYZ YouTube channels available. But when you study for exams, you have to like be like a mad scientist who has done a lot of research of the previous papers, of the past papers, and who has analyzed the papers very well. And once you analyze and once you research, it is very easy because you know कि हाँ क्या क्या आने वाला है and क्या क्या pattern है. So आपको उसी हिसाब से पढ़ना है. So challenges as such नहीं आने चाहिए. But yes, learning challenges, I feel one of the biggest challenges which I have seen in students is the vernacular medium challenge, right? That people who are from vernacular medium, they come into BHMS colleges and then they have to write the whole paper in English. So to counter this thing as well, we had made a one group for English learning series, as especially for the BHMS students who are in vernacular medium. So like there are hundreds and hundreds of videos that which I've put in, and the notes and all the lessons are already put up there in the grammar section as well. So ये मैंने एक मतलब नोटिस किया था, and उसके काउंटर चैलेंज में हमने एक ग्रुप निकाला for vernacular mediums, like those who do not know English so well, or are those who are not so fluent with writing the papers. So to counter this challenge, we made a solution like you join a group, or like in today's time, there are many channels available in YouTube wherein you can learn and improve your English. But again, it all comes to how much you want to do and like how much input you will put in your life and to take yourself ahead in life, right? And it is very sometimes sad and disappointing to see that generally people do not consider BHMS students. You know, this discrimination is somewhere there, which you also might have seen, because there are multiple factors to it. We'll not go into the depth of it, but the challenges whenever they arise, there is always a solution, and we just need to seek the solution out. So one of the biggest challenges which I found was not a clear mindset to give your examinations. A clear mindset should begin 2 months before the examinations and just like do the examination part, and the life part is going on to go like for your lifetime till you live, because a homeopath, I mean, practices till he dies, the true ones, and that's the whole crux of it. And secondly, the biggest challenge that I found was that vernacular medium. So to tackle the vernacular medium, we did one part from our side, and there are many other resources available. So it all depends whether you want to improve or not. One of my best friends, when he had joined, so he was from a vernacular medium, right? And today when I speak with him and I converse with him, I'm so proud to see him grow so much, because he was ready to change and adapt, and he was ready to learn. So he initiated the learning, and today he is doing great in his life. So I feel much better. And similarly, all the other students also doing much well, and they have learned. They write their papers well, and they do not fail. That's the biggest achievement that I would feel, because when I initially started, you can see 20%, 30% failure percentages have nearly come down to 2 to 3% now. So like that's the impact that we have created, and we like try to do the same further ahead.
That's so noble, I must say, because someone is, giving a thought about such kind of students as well.
Yes.
Here comes my next question. Uh, what additional skills or knowledge BHMS students should pursue apart from their own syllabus? Do you recommend any specific courses, workshops, anything? Over
Uh,
to you.
like there are many workshops going on, like the gynac certificate course, the nutritional certificate course, and the emergency medicine certificate course as well. But my perspective with this is little different. I feel that the same knowledge which is there is maybe available in better form on YouTube with one of the best of the channels of emergency medicine. But again, it's a very individual choice. I personally did not feel of like going to such workshops. But again, yes, homeopathic workshops, whenever and wherever you find it, and you know that the person is very authentic and or is a legendary figure, you should of course always try to go in and learn from it, right? So of course, learning is a individual choice, and it's an individual preferences as well. So I would say that the person should always try to learn as much as he or she can, and from whoever or however it is possible. But sometimes I also feel that in homeopathic world, just make sure that from whoever you're learning has to be authentic. And like the first point which you had mentioned, that if a person is doing ABC, he should be saying that he's doing ABC and not XYZ. So like that's my only concerning factor. But again, like I said, that it is very individualistic, and it is, I guess, again, destiny from where a person goes and from whom he learns. I consider this all in the destiny baggage. So rest all is again very individualistic. But as far as learning is concerned, I would like always say that just be very mindful of what you're learning and from whom you're learning, from where you're learning. Like that's the main part.
आपकी बात सही है, but here I have a question now. किसी भी स्पीकर या वर्कशॉप की ऑथेंटिसिटी का कैसे पता लगे? कितनी प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टी है ये कि you know, to be very honest, let me be very brutal honest about this.
Yes.
We attend a seminar, we attend a workshop, and cases are presented, and we see and we clap. Okay, the cases are going through like 1 घंटा 1.5 घंटा, है ना? And if we come up with some rare remedy or very common remedy, है ना? The approach is not telling. मतलब कभी कभी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि उल्टा सिखा रहे हैं। वो आपको वही दिखा रहे हैं जो वो दिखाना चाहते हैं, और ये बहुत ही बिटर ट्रूथ है जो मैंने देखा है सेमिनार्स और वर्कशॉप में जाके। डेफिनेटली आई एम नॉट कोटिंग एवरीवन, बट मैं बता रही हूँ जो सच्चाई है वो ये है कि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है मल्टीपल ड्रग्स दी जाती है, कोई सच बोलता नहीं है।
या डेफिनेटली
कितनी बार फेल हुए, जितने भी आप देखोगे ना प्रैक्टिशनर्स हैं, दे आर गिविंग सेमिनार, दे आर ओनली टेलिंग दैट हाउ सक्सेसफुल दे आर। बहुत अच्छी बात है, व्हेन इट कम्स टू मोटिवेटिंग स्टूडेंट्स बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन मोटिवेटेड स्टूडेंट से ज्यादा आबादी डेवास्टेटेड, फेलियर, डिसहार्टन स्टूडेंट्स की है। उनके बारे में क्या? आपने कैलकेरिया फ्लूर का एक सिंगल डोज दिया 30 का और पेशेंट का एक्सोस्टोसिस ठीक हो गया। ट्रस्ट मी, कभी कभी मुझे लगता है क्रैप है। मतलब हाउ इज दैट इवन पॉसिबल that you're not requiring any other complementary, or you're not requiring relationship of remedies, you are just waiting for a single dose to act magic. अरे tell them if you have failed, बता दो ना नहीं लगा, बता दो ना 2 महीना लगा, उसके बाद बता दो ना एक्सपर्ट का ओपिनियन लगा, आपसे डायग्नोस नहीं हुआ। So this was a case of so and so, हाई फाई बताया, हंटर स्टर्नर सिंड्रोम ऐसे करके बता रहे हैं। टेल देम दैट यू आर नॉट एबल टू डायग्नोज इट। आप मुझे बताओ ऐसे कितने प्रैक्टिशनर्स हैं जो वेबिनार में एक्चुअली सच बोलते हैं? आप बताइए। यू बीन विद मास्टर्स, आई नेवर हैड अ गुरु, मतलब सो मुझे नहीं पता, मैं कहीं जाकर ऐसे सीखी नहीं। आई वाज नॉट लकी इनफ, और आई डिडंट हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ ओरिएंटेशन, है ना? आप बताइए।
तो जनरली जैसा मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू था, that the people, the teachers whom I followed, they all are very genuine and there is no doubt about that. And जैसे कि सर की भी जो पैटर्न है, he always provides a before after video, so I feel that is the biggest thing. And जो मतलब मेथड सर फॉलो करते आ रहे इतने सालों से is the tested, time and tested method of authenticity, right? कि आपने बिफोर आफ्टर वीडियो लेना ही, मतलब I feel that whichever case you see, either the documented WhatsApp chat or a before after video should be there. तो जो सर की पैटर्न रही थी वो बिफोर आफ्टर वीडियो की is something which really satisfies as an audience, as the student, and you can see the difference clearly, before after.
एक बात बताती हूँ मैं आपको डॉक्टर चिंतन, ये व्हाट्सएप के चैट्स, ये वीडियोस, अगर मैं रिसर्च की बात करूँ ना, एमडी किया मैंने, अगर मैं रिसर्च की बात करूँ ना, तो जो पिरामिड होता है ना, उसमें बेस में भी नहीं आते टेस्टिमोनियल्स।
राइट।
किसी भी चीज को एविडेंस बेस बनाने के लिए, रिसर्च बेस बनाने के लिए आपको मेटा एनालिसिस तक, टेस्ट लगाने तक जाना पड़ता है। अरे आजकल ना, मतलब मुझे बहुत दुख होता है, व्हाट्सएप खोलती हूँ मैं, ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने खुद ने नहीं किया, पर अब छोड़ दिया। मतलब व्हाट्सएप के चैट आ रहे हैं, खांसी कैसी है, 10% आराम है, फीवर कैसा है, कल से हुआ नहीं, बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट इफ यू probe deep into it, homeopathy needs more than this. मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये जो टेम्परेरी प्लेजर है ना, कि आपके पेशेंट का 10% कफ ठीक हो गया, कल रात से फीवर नहीं आया, आपको इससे ज्यादा सोचना चाहिए।
राइट, बट
मैं चाहती हूँ प्रैक्टिशनर्स आए वेबिनार में जो सिर्फ अपने फेल्ड केसेस दिखाएं और उन्हें बताएं कि होम्योपैथी प्रैक्टिस करना इतना आसान नहीं है। 3 साल खाली बैठे हैं, कितने डॉक्टर्स यहाँ के ये बताते हैं कि उन्होंने 3 साल 5 साल बिल्कुल मक्खी मारी, कुछ नहीं किया।
सही बात है।
कैसे पता चलेगा? कैसे पता चलेगा? हम तो यही देखते हैं कि अरे इसने BMW खरीदी, उसका बहुत बड़ा बंगला है, उसके वर्कशॉप में 1,000 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, अरे उसको एनरोल नहीं हो पा रहे, ये हम सब देखते हैं। मैं
ट्रू।
चाहती हूँ कि मेरा खुद का मानना है,
जी जी जी।
मेरे अकेले के केसेस बताने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला।
सही है।
मैं चाहती हूँ कि लोग बताएं कि आपको वेट करना पड़ता है, क्लिनिक में पेशेंट आने को भी टाइम लगता है, क्लिनिक सेटअप होने में भी बहुत डिफिकल्टीज आती हैं,
ट्रू
कभी कभी
ट्रू।
कभी कभी कॉफ का पेशेंट ठीक नहीं होता, नहीं होता।
बराबर है।
आप 80 से 85% केसेस ही ट्रीट कर सकते हैं, मैं क्योर का तो क्लेम ही नहीं कर रही।
ट्रू 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 ट्रू। Just to add the point of the doctors and people or initially beginners who put those WhatsApp stories and statuses, somewhere I feel that for them it's a very initial thing कि मैंने ये किया है ना, and somewhere I feel that it's a kind of spreading the word that I've become a doctor, and that's why I've seen people putting it up. एंड बिकॉज उनको लोगों को सपोज मैंने एक स्टेटस डाला बराबर कि द पेशेंट का रेफरेंस इज सो एंड सो समवेयर one person will see the status and then some of the relatives might see, and somewhere, I mean, I think that it's more of a personal branding for the doctor himself when they put this small statuses just to because anyways suppose अगर बहुत कम पेशेंट्स है तो कोई पेशेंट की एंट्री हो सकती है ये पॉइंट से, सो इसलिए मैंने देखा है कि लोग जनरली डालते हैं। एंड
एक नया कल्चर और है, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये गुमराही का रास्ता है कि पीपल नाउ दे आर प्रमोटिंग देयर प्रैक्टिस मोर देन होम्योपैथी। इतने केसेस इंस्टाग्राम पे यूल सी बिफोर एंड आफ्टर। मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूँ एविडेंट बेस नहीं है, एविडेंट है, बट देयर इज नो अप्रोच। आप
ट्रू
अप्रोच पूछोगे ना, हो सकता है वो ड्रग छोड़ के, आधी जनता सिर्फ मेडिसिन जानना चाहती है। दुख की बात है,
ट्रू
दुख की बात है
बिकॉज
कि पब्लिक ये जानना नहीं चाहती कि हाउ यू एंटर्ड द केस,
एग्जैक्टली
how much time you took to take the case, or it was just a you or was the basis of your prescription.
ट्रू
कोई जानना नहीं चाहता तो किसी को बताना भी नहीं। एंड रिसेंटली आई स्टार्टेड अनफॉलोइंग द अकाउंट्स जिन्हें सिर्फ
ओके
बिफोर आफ्टर डालना है। अपने आप को चमकाना, बहुत पेशेंट मिलेंगे तुमको, पर मुझे इंस्टाग्राम पे अगर आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग माई टाइम, आई नीड टू लर्न समथिंग और द अदर नीड।
yeah definitely now again then there is a two-way pointer that either you are a creator or you're an educator, so those all people come under the creator section where they're just putting the results, but some जो एजुकेशन पार्ट, सो हमारा ये पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, हमारा ये माइंडसेट है, बट अगेन वी कैन नॉट चेंज एवरीवन एंड दैट इज हाउ इट गोस समटाइम्स।
या मतलब बिल्कुल पर्सनल ओपिनियन है, बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर आप केस के साथ 2 लाइन का अप्रोच डालेंगे ना, तो शायद कोई किताब खोल के देखेगा एक बच्चा।
ऑफ कोर्स बट यही तो
मैं
मतलब
मैं मैं सच बता रही हूँ, मैं कभी कभी पूरा रिपोर्टराइजेशन नहीं करती, मैं पूरा केस भी नहीं लेती हूँ, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट।
या
है ना, कभी कभी मैं 1 लाइन 2 लाइन या सिर्फ किसी ड्रग का पर्टिकुलर देखकर ही प्रिस्क्राइब कर देती हूँ। अभी आई हैड अ केस ऑफ कॉन्स्टिपेशन। ओके, छोटा सा केस बताती हूँ। आई ट्राइड एवरी पॉसिबल थिंग, मतलब यू, मतलब ओपीएम से लेके नक्स वोमिका, ब्राइनिया, एलिमिना, एवरी एवरी एवरीथिंग पॉसिबल। मतलब अब ऐसी हालत हो गई थी कि मतलब पेशेंट शायद मेरे को छोड़ के जाने वाला था, ऐसा। और ऐसा हो सकता है, ऐसा हो सकता है, राइट।
राइट ऑफ
बार
कोर्स।
बार पूछती थी, वही घूम घूम के आता था, बार बार पूछती थी, वही वही। एक दिन पेशेंट आके मुझे बोल रही है कि वो डॉक्टर साहब, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मॉइस्ट रहती है मेरी लेटरिन की जगह, गीला रहता है। ओके, मैंने रिपोर्टराइज भी नहीं किया एंड आई प्रिस्क्राइब्ड एनाकार्डियम।
ओके
ओके, तो मेरे पास जो इंटर्न्स रहते हैं वो पूछते हैं, मतलब कभी कभी उन्हें प्रिस्क्रिप्शन देख के लगता है कि या तो हम पागल हैं, टाइम खराब कर रहे हैं, उसी मैम पागल है। हाँ, होता है कभी कभी, और कभी कभी उन्हें समझाने का टाइम नहीं होता, वो पूछते भी बीच में मैम के, वो बोलते तुम किताब खोलो, तुम देखो। ओपन बोरिक, इफ यू ओपन एनाकार्डियम, उसमें लिखा हुआ है रेक्टम कंप्लेंट्स।
राइट आई गेस
जिसने पढ़ा
ये
नहीं, जिसने पढ़ा नहीं, उसने भाई जाना नहीं, सिंपल सी बात है ना। और उसके इनके सिम्टम पे आई प्रिस्क्राइब, मैंने पूरा केस है, क्योंकि मैं थक चुकी थी, मुझे लगा पेशेंट गया।
बराबर
सी एनाकार्डियम में मैं पढ़ के सुनाती हूँ, बाउल
yes,
इनएक्टिव, इनइफेक्चुअल डिजायर, रेक्टम सीम्स पावरलेस। कोई सोचेगा भी नहीं कि एनाकार्डियम में यू हैव अ कॉन्स्टिपेशन आल्सो।
करेक्ट
as if plugged up. Spasmodic, constriction, sphincter, ani. Even soft stool passes with difficulty. Looks like alumina, no? Itching at anus and moisture from rectum. Hemorrhage during stool,
Yes.
painful hemorrhage. और ये अब भी का केस है 1 वीक पहले,
Wow. Nice.
है ना? और सोचो वेल सिलेक्टेड रेमेडी फेल होने के बाद भी ऐसा हो सकता है. ब्यूटी ऑफ मटेरियल मेडिक. तो कोई ये बताए कि जरूरी नहीं है कि हर केस रिपोर्टराइज होगा, जरूरी नहीं है कि हर केस में आपको लंबे लंबे केस लेने पड़ेंगे. भाई मेरा पेशेंट इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो चला जाता, कितना वेट करता.
सही बात.
4 हफ्ते में 8 दवाई चेंज कर चुकी थी मैं. हमेशा सेम कंप्लेन लेके आ रहा था. या तो उसका नसीब है कि उसने मुझे बताया कि गीला लगता है, नहीं तो किस गया था. सो आई वांट समवन टू टीच लाइक दिस, टेल लाइक दिस.
Correct, correct, correct.
आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Yes,
सो
yes. Sure.
what do you think के importance of, if I ask, clinical exposure during BHMS, and अगर मैं hands on की बात करूं, so what was your experience on
Yes.
hands on
Right.
gaining clinical experience?
So the organ department of my college, CMP, under the mentorship of Dr. Devadika sir, had a beautiful concept given out that we had to take HOT cases, which were like very voluntarily. So HOT cases, which is hands-on training. So personally, initially when I started, so हमने cases लिए, sir के पास गए, then sir taught us कि ये बाकी है इसमें, ये data entry point अपने लेना नहीं लिया है और this is incomplete. So then we used to again go back to patients like of our relatives or friends and all, and we used to take. So I remember I had taken my first HOT case of my table tennis coach only in a restaurant when I was sitting with him. So then I went back to sir, and sir ने फिर बोला कि in this case you prescribe this medicine, है ना? So it was a case of allergic rhinitis, and Sabadilo was given, and my sir was doing much better later on. So that's all. Like that's how we got the trainings, hands-on trainings in our college. We had a concept. Then sometimes it would happen that there is a person in our building who is paralyzed and bedridden. So I went to his mother and I सामने से told कि should we like start with his homeopathy treatment, and her mother said yes कि आप start कीजिए. So I went back to college, took out his names paper under Dr. NVM sir, and then I again went back to the house where I had to take the case. तो जब मैं गया वहाँ पे तो his dad was present. उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं हमें होम्योपैथी नहीं करनी है. So I was in my second year, and it was very disheartening to hear that thing. So I was very dejected and feeling very sad. And I went back to sir कि उन्होंने ऐसे मना किया. So sir was like, see the beauty of good teachers. So he just patted on my back and said, "Okay, this is the beginning. You know, there will be many failures and many dejections, but you have to stand firm in your path if you wish to like move ahead." So that was the one of the experiences. But yeah, again, considering HOT cases wise, we were very lucky to get the HOTs of our HOT cases solved by teachers. And at today's time, when I'm like eligible and when I have this amount of student base, they keep on messaging me with the cases, and I try to repertorize and I try to like do the job which my teachers had done for me. So I'm not saying that I'm a big doctor, something like that, but of whatever I know, I try to help them very genuinely, and explain the reason behind my medicines and like why I gave and what I gave. So I try to do that part from my part of from my part as well for my students. So yeah, we had a very good exposure as far as hands-on clinical trainings were concerned. But again, the reality and the sad part is that most of the people do not have this opportunity because they somewhere are not in that good colleges like of homeopathy, for example CMP, NIH, the ones in the league. So yeah, this is the major setback. But definitely hands-on training definitely gives you a very big boost in your practice and in your personal experience and knowledge as well, because I feel that homeopathy is something that you have to learn and you have to see patients. Otherwise, no amount of books read or no amounts of repertorized cases which you read of others will somewhere help you. But what will eventually help you is what you have seen, भले वो initially एक या दो patient भी हो, because as you all know that the harsh reality and the sad reality is very harsh on our part. And when you initially set out as a doctor and as a practitioner, there are very few patients, because you just come out. But I was lucky and fortunate to get this opportunity of seeing around 50 patients daily, 40 patients daily, 30 patients daily on normal days, and on good days we reach 60 patients daily. So I got this opportunity, but again, many people do not get this opportunity, right? So in that aspect, I can't say that the learning cannot stop. So as far as I feel that when you do not have any patience, you invest in your learning. But again, you have to always manifest, and you have to manifest good things for you. So you can always think that patience आएंगे. And धीरे धीरे, if you like consider, for me, suppose I had seen Ranjan Das OPD of 100 patients a day. तो मैंने just खाली ऐसा सोचा था एक बार मन में कि, and that's like his private OPD, right, and not a charitable OPD. But I just thought, is it possible that I see half the number of patients in its initial years? So I just manifested. I mean, I just put this message in the universe, and it really happened. So I did see 50, 60 patients in like 2 hours, right? So ये हुआ मतलब. So I mean, the possibilities are endless. It all depends what is your mindset. The main thing is that the grit, I mean, to sit in that place without seeing any patients is the hardest challenge, I feel, which I guess most of the doctors have gone through. There have been very few numbers of doctors who have been very like successful right since their passing out. So it's a very slow and a steady race, but you have to like hang in there.
That's very true. Even I have witnessed Dr. Ranjan Belsari's clinic.
Yes.
180, 170
Yeah,
patients,
yeah.
my God. मैं तो हैंग हो जाती थी
Yeah,
बीच
yeah,
में.
yeah.
मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि
He's on
मतलब
another.
हैंग होते हैं ना, जिसका चलना बंद हो जाता है, ऐसा
Yeah,
सब
yeah.
नम हो जाता था.
He's on another level. Even Abhishek Bhai, he sees a good number of patients in a very less number of time. Like his practice is like like when I went to his clinic, he said that it is my homeopathic GP. Like I practice like a homeopathic GP. The like sheer bangers and PQRS and keynotes like that.
That's it.
Because
That's
all
it.
these people, I mean, all these practitioners see a lot of number of patients.
What I love about Ranjan Dada's practice is the nothing is hypothetical. अगर उन्होंने कुछ prescribe किया है ना, and if you open Boric, you will find exact symptom there.
True,
इतना साफ है.
true.
मतलब
Yeah,
मतलब भाव ऐसे नहीं बोलेंगे कि वो ऐसा बैठा था, तुमने वो नहीं देखा, तुमने वो नहीं देखा. अरे कुछ नहीं देखा, उसने जो बोला ना वो बोरिक में एज
yeah.
इट इज मार्क है. मेरी बोरिक का कलर ही बदल के आया 3 दिन में.
उनकी एलन स्किनोड और उनकी बॉडी कितनी पड़ी हुई है कि मतलब यू कैन, इट्स
एक
वेरी
एक बार
डिफिकल्ट.
एक केस में फंसा लिया. मैं बोला देखा दादा नहीं है. उन्होंने क्लार्क निकलवा ली मुझसे. मेरा ही काम बढ़ गया और मैं बोला बेकार पूछा मैंने. It was there in Clark's material बैठ
नहीं,
गया. Moving forward, moving forward to next question. This is something very important. Uh, what career path will you consider after graduating, and what influenced your decision? How you explore different career options, and what resources helped you in making this informed choices?
yeah, so first of all, again, a very tricky question to answer, but I guess this is one of the most important question which every student has after passing out. So to like let me just like recollect all the thoughts. Yeah, so I feel that again it is a very individual option. I mean individual choice. But here to whichever I mean student who has asked me, I always tell them one reference that आप डॉक्टर रॉबर्ट्स का फर्स्ट चैप्टर पढ़ लीजिए. What homeopathy has to offer a young man. This chapter will truly determine whether you will become, will you pursue this path, this journey of being a homeopath, or whether it's not your temperament. Because this chapter, if you read for 5 times, and अगर आपके दिल के साथ वो connect हो कि हाँ, it has echoed with my inner feelings and my core feelings with regards to homeopathic practice, then go ahead and you will like definitely be on the right track and the right path. But again, like I said here, that मैं कल यही रात को सोच रहा था आपको मतलब कि ये जब क्वेश्चन आएगा तो मैं कैसे उसे मतलब सपोज इफ एट ऑल ये क्वेश्चन आए तो मैं क्या बोलूंगा, राइट? बिकॉज आई एम नो वन टू टेल समवन कि आप प्रैक्टिस करो होम्योपैथी. सपोज आज की तारीख में वी हैव लाइक ओवर 1 lakh of student base across India, and they all look up to me, look up to our seniors. So, and if at all they ask me, and if at all if I am in that position to tell them कि आप होम्योपैथी प्रैक्टिस करो, मैं ये नहीं बोल सकता कि आप होम्योपैथी ही प्रैक्टिस करो. What if there are multiple aspects to this. Let us cover one by one each one of them. First of all, what if they do not have that determination and grit to which is needed to excel in any field? So ये point हो गया, like one point of rejection or failure. Second is ki what if in the destiny only it's not written to become a doctor or like pursue homeopathy ahead, because 80% 70% of the people are in homeopathy because they did not get MBBS. Secondly, अगर उन्हें होम्योपैथी एमबीबीएस नहीं भी मिला, होम्योपैथी में आ गए तो वो अपने पेरेंट्स के विश से या इसके उसके विश से आए. सो ये भी एक बहुत हार्श ट्रूथ है कि लोग अपनी मर्जी से नहीं आए होम्योपैथी में. सो होम्योपैथी में अगर वो अपनी मर्जी से नहीं आए तो फिर मतलब उसको फर्दर परस्यू करना बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट पाथ, unless and until you have been with someone who is doing homeopathy left, right, and center day in and day out, like I got that chance. So then your mindset is different. But most people do not get that chance, to see and learn from the great prescribers, legends of homeopathy. So here again, I would like to say कि I cannot tell someone कि आप homeopathy ले लो, right? Because first point कि अगर आपने वो determination और आपने वो मेहनत करने की capacity नहीं है, तो वो कहाँ तक आपको आगे लेके जाएगी. सेकेंड थिंग, अगर आप मार्केटिंग में कहीं गुड हो, अगर आप किसी और स्किल्स में अच्छे हो, तो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ अदर ऑप्शंस एज वेल व्हिच पीपल आर डूइंग राइट नाउ. पब्लिक हेल्थ डेवलपमेंट, मैनेजमेंट, MBAs. Most of my friends are doing MBA right now after passing from BHMS. Suppose if at this point I were to count number of students, I mean number of my friends from my batch who are practicing homeopathy will be in handfuls. Like I can like literally count them on my fingers. So that's the reality of passing out doctors who are really trying to see homeopathy and practice homeopathy. But again, third point is the financial aspect as well, right? Like once you become a doctor, there is always some kind of expectation from your family as well, especially like suppose you come from not that well-to-do family, then this constant stress is always there in the student's mind. And ये point कोई बताता नहीं है और ये बात कोई आगे रखता नहीं है, right? Because ऐसे बहुत सारे students होते हैं जो मतलब are very hard working. उनके पास बहुत कुछ हो सकता है, बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं, but due to some financial constraints and restraint, they try to cut down their ambitions and have to do some RMO duty or job somewhere. So मैं कहीं ना कहीं ये भी नहीं बोलता हूँ कि ये भी गलत है. Of course, you have to look at the periphery of all the factors which revolve around your life, and then you have to select one thing in that. So first of all, the determination and the zeal on the doctor's point of view. Secondly, if there is something better written in their destiny, they can always pursue that. Third thing is the financial constraint, which is the main thing which I would suppose. But lastly, from my point of view and my perspective, I will never tell someone to practice homeopathy. I can just tell them कि आप लोगों को देखो, आप लोगों की उनकी लाइफ देखो, and आप उनसे सिर्फ इंस्पायर हो सकते हो. And फिर जो करना है नहीं करना है, you have to like really take it in your own personal things and your own introspection, whether will I be able to do it or not. And like I said, one of the best guidance and the starting light which can be given to you is Dr. Roberts' first chapter, what homeopathy has to offer a young man. And after reading that, if it hits you, if it clicks you, then of course you can go ahead, and then the sky is the limit for you. And it all depends on your determination, your hard work, your passion towards homeopathy.
That's so apt. Uh, एक क्वेश्चन और है. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स बहुत ही डिसकंटेंटेड रहते हैं कॉलेज से निकलने के बाद भी. दे डोंट हैव एन आइडिया कि व्हाट इज गोइंग इन देयर लाइफ,
True,
राइट?
true,
सो
true.
if I ask, what role does continued learning in career after BHMS? Matlab, how do you stay updated? You have seen MBBS practitioners, how they are. They have a very good, मुझे उनका culture बहुत पसंद है. The way they have a meet and greets and CMEs uh, sponsored by pharma companies and all, no? So they are always
Yes,
updated.
yes,
So
yes.
what resource when it comes to homeopathy you find are most valuable, and how a homeopath can be updated on advancement?
So one of the resources, of course, is the journals, right? The journals which are going on. So it's a very good way to keep yourself updated every monthly. So there are very good journals which are like going on in our Indian practices, and the Hahnemann and Gleanings as well of the olden times. So all these journals are one way to update your regular learnings. So suppose, for example, as a doctor or as a pathy, we don't have so many CMEs going, right? So if we do not have so many CMEs or such events going around, then the best way to go is go back to your books, right? And in that, like I said, there are endless resources and there are n number of books. But of course, journals are one example which I would like to mention here. Second is the YouTube channels of different doctors, those who are really teaching. Third are the seminars again, but like we've discussed, the point of view or the the litmus test of seminars, it's always a question mark. But again, the fourth thing is that your own patience will be your biggest learning further point. So for example, I see a patient, and a patient comes up to you and then he describes your symptoms and he tells you your problem. So you can just take that case itself as a study point and try to learn lot about it. Maybe a single case will take you months and months to learn, and go on further. For example, there was a case of cerebral ataxia of one of my friend, my father's very close friend, and all the doctors had given up. They have given up on him because it's incurable. They say that it is not curable, and the ataxia part is like very not able to manage. I mean, people cannot manage it, and they had also consulted big doctors, but it was like it had no improvement, and they had given up. So my father is like, like तुम try कर ही लो ना अभी, अगर सब बायो से कुछ नहीं किया तो I just told him, I took the case. So that one individual case was such a big learning thing for me, because you learn so much when you see in your repertories. There are literally rubrics mentioned for ataxia. So somewhat those doctors and the legends would have cured those cases now when they enter it. So it's again a very beautiful insight that your own patient is your first learning tool. And like I said, you just keep on manifesting good things, and if at all things go right for you, they go right for you. Otherwise, the Murphy's laws are always there. Things which are going to go bad, they are going to go bad. You will not be able to change much of it. Yes.
बहुत
Can't you?
इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन पूछने वाली हूँ मैं.
Yeah.
Just because you have got a lot of exposure from so many gurus you have learned, are there any common misconceptions about career in homeopathy that students should be aware of? और वो misconceptions को हटाने का भी तरीका बताइए. मैंने बोला ना, here will not only raise the problem, it's like not a vivad and a debate, but this should come with some solution as well.
Um, Misconception is, first and foremost, is that homeopathy is very difficult. That I think is one of the biggest misconception, because जैसे हमने उस केस की बात की थी बराबर, एस्थमा, साइकोटिक एस्थमा, हमने वो केस की बात की थी, which we solved through which was solved through Fatak's repertory. So it was very obvious कि we just took in fact ये I mean ये टॉपिक आपने डाला उसके पहले मैं पूरा फाटक रेपर्टरी भी पूरा मेरा प्लानिंग एंड सब वो कर रहा था, प्रिपरेशन. एंड देन सडनली आपने ये बोला, तो पूरा मैंने शिफ्ट करके फिर हमने इस पे बात की. बट homeopathy, again, like I said, the commonest misconception is it is not difficult. Of course, it is difficult in the advanced pathological cases and advanced cases of system failures, wherein we have stalwarts different who are treating it very well. So, at the initial point of view and the initial beginners level, one misconception which I would like to clarify is that it is not very difficult. The only thing is that maybe you have not met a right person who has guided you, or maybe you have not seen enough cases which has taken you forward ahead, right? So that's one of the biggest misconception. And how can we clear it? The only way to clear any misconception is by yourself experiencing it. Like I say, if you think, I mean, if you cure one patient, your misconception will yourself will get it cleared. So ये एक तरीका है. Other misconception is that you take some guidance from the revered people who are doing it and who are doing this job. So these are the two things which I feel that is misconception or generally taken wrong as. And third misconception is that homeopaths do not earn much और इतना कमाते नहीं है. But again, वो जो journey है from starting steps by steps से लेकर आगे तक की journey, it's a different spectrum only, and I will not go into the depths of it. But of course, ये भी एक misconception है कि homeopaths do not earn. But again, it is very individualistic and it is very destiny oriented. But those who earn are doing really very well. So you never know whether when you give your wholehearted efforts, there might come a time in your life wherein you are actually earning very good as well. So these were the things that I could think of.
So I have
Can't you?
last two questions before we end up.
Yes, yes. Hello.
This is a very hypothetical question, I must say, but it's okay. Let people get the vision with the question. What do you wish you had done differently during a BHMS journey? So here I am talking about shortcomings of Dr. Chintan, right? So
Mhm.
I mean, this is a little deep and a little dark.
Yeah.
But looking back, is there anything you want to focus on more, or something, some mistakes you have done, or things you could have done differently in the field? Over to you.
Uh, again, like I said, that the way I live my life and the way I've always like dreamt of it, there are no regrets as far as my mindset or the motive is concerned. So if I were to look back, of course there are no regrets, but yes, one regret definitely and one shortcoming is that maybe I always feel that I did not work with the full potential in the capacity in which I could have done things. And like I've already told you, the procrastination factor which is there, it's like now 10 plus. So just one setback or shortcoming which I would like to point out on my point of view is that somewhere I feel, and that delusion, neglected work he has. ये कहीं ना कहीं ऐसे काफी लगता है मुझे कि उतना उतनी उतनी अच्छी तरीके से काम नहीं किया जो कर सकते थे. But again, like I said, that educational point of view wise, I don't feel that any things which I have done were wrong on my part, because my mindset was very clear. Once when I had to study for exams, I used to study for exams. When I had to study for life, I used to like do my research and ragada throughout the करिकुलम. एंड हम 2 साल कोविड में थे, तो वो 2 साल घर ही बैठे थे. सो ये एक मे बी शॉर्ट कमिंग है कि मे बी if COVID was not there, we could have got some better exposure. But again, like I said, I got that exposure and I do not regret it, because I'm very satisfied with what I've got, and I'm very fortunate also with all that opportunities that have come along my way. And maybe when I want to say it from the spiritual point of view or the spiritual aspect view, it is always said that the giving starts the receiving. So first, an individual has to be a giver of anything. And अगर आप कुछ भी दोगे, तो it is bound that आपको universe से वो मिलेगा. And when the universe gives you, it gives you in plenty. But you have to be a giver. So all my life, I've always tried to be a giver. है ना? Like very rarely can someone say that I may have not helped them, because as far as my thinking goes, हमने सबको help करने की कोशिश की है through our platform, through individuals. Like I don't even recall the number of calls which I've made with the students. Those who have failed examinations, I've talked to them. उनके calls हमने बातें की 1-1 घंटे 2-2 घंटे, and फिर वही students exam top किए उन्होंने next year जाके. So all this giving somewhat has given me back. And like it is said that whatever you give to homeopathy, it gives you back in multifolds. So this is one theory which I've always followed, and it's not for the receiving that we give; it's for the giving, and it's for the joy of giving. Here, I would also like to quote one of my mentors and one of my inspirational personality whom I follow a lot. And since I love the Indian Army so much, and I've always been a very big fan of Major Vivek Jacob sir. And there is a saying in the Special Forces commandos in our Indian battalions, which goes out as that who cares who wins? है ना? The Indian Special Forces do not care who is winning, who is losing. They just do their job. And Major Vivek Jacob says that कर्म वही करो जो करना ही फल लगे. So the karma which you do, the things which I have done, were the fruits in itself, right? Because the letters which I've received all throughout these 4.5 years are something that I'll always cherish and look back. And when the days are dark, I always turn to them as the letter of, something of the letters which I've received. They give me that happiness, that inner satisfaction कि yeah, I have made some difference. And हमेशा से मेरा ये जो स्टेटस है व्हाट्सएप पे भी या सब बाजू यही लगा है कि um, it is always the giving aspect which you should always try to give, and make sure when you leave your mark. So the only thing that we work on is to make an impact. And अब तक मैंने जो लाइफ जी है वो हमेशा इसी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से जी है कि मैं किसी के जिंदगी में थोड़ा सा इम्पैक्ट कर सकूं या थोड़ा सा कुछ अच्छा कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकूं. बिकॉज बुरा बोलने के लिए, बुरा करने के लिए तो द होल वर्ल्ड इज देयर. सो ये एक पॉइंट था कि मैं कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकूं टू द बेटरमेंट, है ना? इफ नॉट फॉर द वर्स्ट, बट एटलीस्ट फॉर द गुड, राइट? But yeah, again, looking back on my personal level, there are no shortcomings because there are no regrets. The only regret is that the only regret and the self doubt which you have is that you could not do to your max potential. But again, you can always rectify it as and when life goes.
That's very
ओ,
true. मुझे तो
ठीक
ऐसा
है,
लगता था मुझे कोई
सॉरी,
जॉब भी नहीं।
मुझे वो कोट याद आ गया जो मैंने व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस पे लगाया था। मैंने आपको बोला ना कि अभी जो कि like I always believe this and I've always kept it in my mind that we all die. The goal isn't to live forever, but to create something that will. So this is something which has always deeply impacted my life, that we are all going to die. What is something that you will create? What is something that you will do which will be carried forward as a legacy, right? So if we were to look back from the olden times till now, there was nothing, there has been no organization who have worked for students welfare, especially homeopathy. MBBS में सब बाजू है, मतलब होम्योपैथी में आज तक नहीं था. So somewhere I feel very fortunate and lucky enough कि हमने ये start किया and people are benefiting and getting its benefit. And it was all very selflessly done without charging a single penny or without doing anything. हमने पूरा first to fourth BHMS step by step order में follow किया है with all the notes, all the pointers, how to write the exams, when to write the exams, and you know how you can do it, how you can excel. So ये जो मेरा एक concept था कि toppers और normal students में भेदभाव नहीं होना चाहिए. Now आज की तारीख में anybody can top the examinations if they are willing and if they have joined us and if they do the hard work, you can top examinations. There is no one who is going to stop you.
We are so proud of you, डॉक्टर चिंतन. इवन मतलब मुझे लगता नहीं कि ये लाइव नहीं होता तो बहुत सारे लोगों को शायद पता ही नहीं चल पाता द नोबल वर्क यू आर डूइंग अपार्ट फ्रॉम योर प्रैक्टिस.
Maybe it was my time. Ab tak we have always been doing it very underground, and maybe this was the first break, and hopefully more breaks to
वो तो
come in ahead.
आपके ऊपर छोड़ देती मैं, तो आप फिर ऐसे आगे डेट पे डेट पोस्टपोन करते रहते. मैंने बोला आपके लिए रूब्रिक ना, माइंड प्रोक्रास्टिनेशन.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Here comes my last question to you.
Sure.
What advice will you give to the students? और आपको क्या लगता है बिजनेस, फाइनेंशियल या मैनेजमेंट स्किल्स स्टूडेंट्स शुड लर्न as soon as they pass out BHMS?
Definitely, definitely. In today's time, there are many skills that one can learn on individual aspect as well. First thing is that if in case you see that your communication is not very good, it is the first area in which you can work up, right? The way of talking, the way of speaking with your patients, with your relatives, you know, that's the first zone of interest which I would like to say, because homeopathy is 80% talking, 80% case taking, and then the perceiving and the solving. So the case perceiving point of view will only come depending on how well you can converse with the patient. And there are very good books also available on this topic as well. So you can of course improve your communication skills. You can improve your online presence. You can improve a lot on your marketing skills, on your what can I say? You can always improve on your financial aspects as well. Learn something about investment. Up until now, I never invested in stock markets as well because my dad was doing it. But now I've taken it up as a challenge to learn this point of view as well. That what is investment? What are SIPs? So XYZ amount you are getting it. Are you investing it rightly? Are you, I mean, have you got all your basics covered, like the insurance plan, the health insurance, your life insurance, and all those part covered as well? Because these all in today's time are very important. So a basic understanding and a basic point of view is very important. But again, as a big brother or as a buddy mentor, if to all the students who are watching this, I would always I would just say one thing, that just be very honest with your intentions and with your mindset. Somewhere there might come times wherein you feel lost and you feel dejected. So the best time to turn at those times is you turn to God and you try to make connections with Him. You try to pray to Him. I am very sure that everybody has gone through that stage of sadness, depression, of XYZ, whichever factors which one can think of, especially in this journey and this time point of view wherein doctors are becoming doctors. The DIL part is also very big. The disappointment and love factor also comes in a lot. So it's a very big topic as well, and we've been trying to help students in those aspects beautifully. People who are not able to move on, like, have moved on, just by few doses of our medicines. So like there are a lot of wonders in those aspects as well. But again, just be very true to yourself. कर्म वही करो जो करना ही फल लगे. So आप फल की चिंता ना करो कि क्या होगा, क्या पैसे आएंगे, ये सब नहीं. And again, like I said, कि your life is already predestined. I am definitely a very firm believer of this destiny and the factors and the lucks. And the only thing that you can make yourself more luckier is by doing better work and more hard work. That's it. So just keep on doing the work which you are doing. If at all, of course, there are, like I said, I will not tell you to, practice homeopathy. But I will definitely tell you to just look into homeopathy. Okay, what a beautiful science it is. Just at least take one case, prescribe someone one medicine, and just see for yourself. Maybe if you go on doing it, if you do not practice also homeopathy in per se, but at least you can treat your own family members, right? That's my basic goal and point of view, which I would always like to tell people. But again, like I said, it's very individual. The hard work which you do is definitely in your hands. All that we can do on our part is try to help you whenever you are lost or feeling rejected or do not have a right track. But again, everything which will come ahead will all depend on in your hands. And the opportunities which I said will all depend on how much you know are you giving than receiving. So just one thing that I would like to mention and add is that start and try giving and find a way to serve many, because मेरी जो life रही है अब तक की, my life has been on the told what can we say, that it is, how can I put it up, that I have been following my mentor Mr. Ron, and he has always said this one thing, that everybody has self-interest. Everybody has a self-interest, but the point of it has to be that it has to be enlightened self-interest, wherein everybody wins and nobody loses. So this enlightened self-interest part is something in which you think of doing something for others. He used to always say that the the way to become successful is serving many people. So you have to always find a way to serve people. If you can get a way to serve people, you are bound to get successful in life. This is what he used to always say, and this is something which I've always carried in my life. I do not know whether it's been successful till now or no, but my motives, my mindset, and my nature and my determination is very fixed on that point of view.
So it was a very meaningful and insightful session. Thank you so much, Dr. Chintan, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And trust me, matlab, the views were good, and I'm sure those will be watching in IGTV.
Sure.
I request all of you to do not forget to write about what you learned
Mhm.
and about the session and your feedbacks about the session. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr. Chintan.
you for having me here. Take care. Bye.
So I hope you all have enjoyed the session, and it was a very really insightful. Do not forget to write in the story next what you learned about it and what you liked about it. This gives motivation to speaker as well to to show up on various platforms and help the fellows. Thank you so much. Next week we'll be back with another episode. Till then, stay fit, stay healthy. Homeopathy works.